Now the kids see me screaming and punching the door, so now they get even more excited and they're screaming, right? So I created this environment that was just full of fear. It wasn't love, it wasn't communication. And this probably went on for at least, I want to say, 2 months. At that point, I knew that I needed to get some sort of help. So I remember, I never told this story before, but I think that it's part of my journey in self-awareness and learning more about myself. I figured that it's important for me to share this with you. I remember years ago I was working at a job, and I came to work one day and my knuckles had looked as if they were in probably within a meat grinder, or I got into a really bad fight. And people at work used to joke around and call me Tommy Knuckles. It was like, wow, if your knuckles look like that, I would hate to see what the person looked like that you did that to. And I would just like laugh it off. But truthfully, what happened was I was punching. We have these sliding doors in between our apartment because it's a brownstone, and the wood is probably about that thick. So I was punching the door as hard as I could. I thought I could just punch through it and get my frustration out. And at the time, I had asked my wife to help out with the finances because I just started this job. I was in between jobs. I was out of work for probably about 6 months. I was out of work. And the twins were born. And my older kids, one was in elementary, the other one's in junior high. So, 4 kids. My grandmother was already paralyzed on the left side of her body. And my mom was retired taking care of her, but she also had what's called a pinched nerve or sciatica, to where she would try and move and she couldn't move. So I would help out with the meals for my place and my mom and my grandma. So I'd run up and down stairs, blessed to take care of my family. But my wife would work at night. So the kids used to be a little, they miss their mom. And it's understandable. And at the time, my youngest daughter, when it would be time for her to go to sleep and mommy wasn't at home, she would just throw a tantrum. She would just scream and scream and scream. And I used to let her sleep with a bottle, but if you let kids sleep with the bottle, it causes their teeth to decay. So after a while, I had to take the bottle away from her. So I remember one night, mom was at work. I'm trying to get the house in order, and she just starts to scream. And my initial reaction is like screaming back, like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what's going on?" And she would still just scream and scream and scream and scream. And it was to the point to where I was already yelling, but I didn't want to yell anymore because it wasn't doing anything but agitating the situation. So I'm getting so angry, like I don't know what to do. So I just started screaming at the door, and I just started punching it and punching it and punching it and punching it. And as I'm screaming and punching the doors, now the kids see me screaming and punching the doors, so now they get even more excited and they're screaming, right? So I created this environment that was just full of fear. It wasn't love. It wasn't communication. And this probably went on for at least, I want to say, 2 months. At that point, I knew that I needed to get some sort of help as far as therapy is concerned, because I shouldn't be acting that way. Being in between jobs, there was a point in time when we didn't have enough money to pay for bills or food, so we would have to go to a food pantry to get food. So, it was canned goods, canned meat, but we did what we had to do to get through the moment. So it was a very stressful time. And although I'm humbled to, be able to have a meal and still take care of my mom and my grandma and my wife pitching in and doing what she could do, but I just could not find the correct way to deal with my emotions. I could not find the correct way to deal with the stress that I was going through. I could not find the patience to deal with my kids when they were just missing their mom. So why do I tell you all this? Because everyone looks at me and they say, "Oh, you're always so calm. I don't see you as the type that gets angry." No, I get angry. It's just from that time, when we're talking about going back about, I want to say, wow, at least 10 years ago till now, I had to put some work in. I had to seek therapy, and beyond therapy, I had to do internal work to get to a point to where I would recognize what those triggers are and then learn how to deal with the triggers once they occur, because not all the time do we learn how to deal with triggers. We just know how to react to them. We know that if someone yells, we naturally fight or flight, right? So we get timid and afraid of it, or we're like, yo, we on guard, we ready to go. So it's just one of those situations where I had to learn how to respond. Breathing is one of those things. I've learned recently that whenever my energy gets depleted, whenever I feel as if life is being tough, in addition to prayer, journaling, meditation, I do a lot of walks. And the reason why I do a lot of walks is I like to spend time in nature. And what I've learned is actually that by spending time in nature and around trees, you can replenish your natural energy just from trees. Okay? So these are just some of the things that I've done to help me deal with my anger or my inability to express my emotions, because that's all that it boils down to. I did not have the proper vocabulary to express how I feel, to express it to anyone, which then basically turned into rage instead of using words. And that's why I always talk about the DISC assessment and how I've learned more about myself. And I invite you to learn more about yourself by taking it. And there's also something that's called the ACT score that you can take as well to see if you had any past traumas and what level it's on and how you should go about dealing with it. So that's basically the podcast for this week. A lot of people always ask me, why am I always so calm? It's not that I'm always so calm. It's just I've taken the time to work at knowing myself, knowing what the triggers are, and how to deal with it, because they're always there. They will come and go. So I don't want people to think like, oh, once you get calm, like that's indefinite. No, it will come and go. You just have to learn how to navigate through those tough times. All right. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Motivation and Confidence, where we help you do your daily best.